Glam by Georgia, and I am so excited to be posting my first makeup tutorial in so long. It has been like 5 years since I posted my last one, and let me tell you, a lot has happened in 5 years. I finally am running my own business from my home salon and also traveling and doing events and parties and things like that. So my makeup game has kind of improved, or definitely improved, since I last posted videos. So I'm really excited to start making videos for you guys again. Today we have created this little glam. It's what I do for a lot of my brides, like a full glam glittery bronzy eye with the classic combo nude lip. So if you want to see how I created this, just keep on watching. So first off, we're just going to start off with some skin prep. This is my favorite moisturizer by Tatcha. It's really good for oily or combo skin, and I just apply that all over the face. And then you can grab any lip mask. This is just a Kmart one actually, and just popping that on the lips for a bit of hydration. And then I'm going in with these hyaluronic acid under eye masks just to hydrate under the eyes. And then I'm going in with the P. Louise eye base, which is absolutely iconic. It's the best eye base. It really makes your eyeshadow stand out. And I'm just applying that all over my eye with a flat brush. Then I'm just dampening a beauty blender slightly. I dry it off with a towel and I go over that P. Louise eye base just to make sure there's no streak marks from the brush. And then I'm just going in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pencil, and I'm just going through the brows lightly, giving them some definition and just getting a nice natural but still shaped kind of look. Also, it's also really important whenever using a beauty blender, dampen it under a tap and squeeze it through, and then dry it with a towel or paper towel, just so that it's not too damp, because if it's very damp, you're going to move whatever product you're using the blender on top of. So you just want it very slightly damp. That's very important. So as you can see, when I'm doing my brows, I'm kind of working towards the middle and ends. I'm not going in the front, because if you go in the front, you'll get what we call block brows, and they are very 2015, 2016. We're in 2025, we're not doing block brows anymore, okay? So we're going to get a brush and we're going to sweep through the fronts with a brush. You'll see coming up. That's just to give that ombre effect and kind of blur out the fronts, rather than having that really dark shade right in the front and the whole brow just looks blocky. So here I'm just grabbing that brush that's on the other side of the pencil, and I'm just brushing through the front of the brows. And as you can see, it gives a really nice smoothing ombre kind of effect. And then I'm just grabbing the remainder of the product of the P. Louise that was already on the brush before, and I'm just kind of shaping the bottom of the brow. And then just grabbing my all-time favorite foundation. This is a NARS Radiant Longwear foundation. I'm just using it to carve out my brows. I'm in the shade Yukon, and this just gives the eyebrows a nice clean look. Guys, this is the best foundation. I use it on all my clients. It is beautiful, and you'll see how it looks on the skin later. But yeah, it's stunning. And then I'm just going ahead and using my beauty blender to blend it all out. And here I'm just going over the eyelids again, just to make sure there's no creasing before I go in with eyeshadow. Now I'm using the Makeup by Mario eyeshadow palette. This is my favorite eyeshadow palette. It's my most used eyeshadow palette in my kit. It's got all the bronzy tones that you need, cool and warm. And I'm just going in with this shade here. And first off, I'm just kind of dabbing it in place where I want that pigment, so towards the end of the eye. And after I've dabbed in quite a bit, I just start using circular motions to start blending it out. Now I'm going in with this darker shade mixed in with another shade. This just creates a nice bronzy shade. I just love it. It's not too dark and it's not too light. It's just a perfect mix, okay? And I'm just adding that on top just to add a little bit of depth on the outer corner, and again putting it in place and then circular motions to blend it out. I'm not going too high into the brow bone. We want to keep that nice and clean. We're just doing circular motions right in the crease of the eye and blending outwards towards the end of the brow for that more smoky, wisped out effect. So I'm just adding the excess that's on my brush. I'm just using that to tie it all in on the inner of my eye. I don't want to add any more eyeshadow because I want that part quite light compared to the ends. And then I'm going in with my bronzer. This is the Hourglass Ambient Light Reflecting Bronzer, I think it's called. And I'm just using that on the inside, the inner of the eye. That way it's just going to tie in really nicely with my bronzer when I put that on later. And that is why I'm going more towards the nose area, because my bronzer is going to be there and it's going to tie in really nicely. And we're just going to pop it towards the end of the eyeshadow too, just at the end there, just to make it all tie in. Then grabbing my Natasha Denona nude palette, I'm just dipping into this gold shimmer here. I'm just going to use that on my crease area where we haven't applied any eyeshadow. We don't need a whole lot because I'm going to go in with a loose glitter pigment after this. But it's just to give it a little bit more pigment underneath, so it's not just the glitter alone. We've got a nice base to pop it on top of. Then just taking my eye masks off because they've been on long enough. And I'm just going in with this glitter glue. This is by Peaches and Cream. You can get it from glamradar.com. And I'm just applying that everywhere that I applied that eyeshadow, because this is where we're going to put the loose pigment. This is my favorite loose glitter pigment. It is by Peaches and Cream, also from glamradar.com. It is in the shade Gatsby. It's a beautiful gold shimmer and I use this on my brides. It always turns out stunning, especially in photos. So I'm just applying that everywhere that I applied the glue, and it's just going to give a really nice glittery look, and it ties in really nicely with those bronzy shades. And as you can see, I'm using tapping motions, no dragging motions, because then it's just going to make the glitter move. Now going in with this even darker shade, we're going to use this towards the ends just to give a nice smoked out effect and add even a little bit more depth. Now just using that fluffy brush from earlier with any excess that we have from earlier, just to blend out that eyeshadow I just popped on, just to help it melt in with everything and give a smooth blend. Now going in with the black shade, this is going to give the nicest smoky eye. This is my favorite part. I'm just doing it like I would do a winged liner. With a flat brush, and we're just applying it like a winged liner really and smoking it right out. Now just going over the top of where my lashes are, just kind of tight lining just to connect it all together. Then using this fluffy brush, I'm just going over to smoke it all out. It doesn't matter if it gets a little bit messy because we're going to clean it up later. This is my favorite part, it's so satisfying. I just use a pointed Q-tip with a bit of setting spray on it to clean it up and just swiping. You can use anything like micellar water or just water, anything really works. Then just curling my lashes and applying this Hourglass mascara. I like this mascara because it's a tubing one, so it comes off easily. Now just grabbing these half lashes, these are just from literally Shein. I'm just applying them with the Duo Lash Glue. If you ever wondered why a lot of makeup artists don't record them putting on lashes, this is why. It is tricky and it can be a bit fidgety and a bit annoying. I always switch between tweezers and my fingers. Just until I get it on 100% right. I love using these fiber tip tweezers because it helps squeeze the natural lash to the lash strip. And this is just me showing you before because I'm going to apply these individual lashes on top, which I always do with my clients. And you're going to see how much of a difference there is between just applying a half lash compared to adding individual lashes on top of half lash. And then I'm just using this lash clamper. It just clamps the lashes together with the natural lash, and look at that difference. It's just amazing. Now going in with the Flawless filter, I'm just applying that all over the face. This gives a really nice filtered look, and it also just gives a beautiful dewy glow to the skin. I really like the way this looks under makeup. Now applying this L'Oreal Lumi Glotion just on the high points of my cheeks. Just going to give a nice glow underneath the highlighter that we're going to pop on later. So don't mind how busted up my hands look. Your girl suffers with anxiety, okay? And it's a work in progress. I tend to bite my skin a little bit. Anyways, look at this glow. The skin just looks flawless. Now just going in with the Stila color correcting kit, I'm just going in with the peachy shade. This is just going to neutralize any dark tones underneath the eyes, especially if you're like really tired and you get those dark under eyes like I do. This is a really good one for that. Look at the before and after. It's just, yeah, it does the job, okay? And then I'm just grabbing that NARS Radiant Longwear foundation from before. Again, this is my all-time favorite foundation. I cannot stress it enough how beautiful this foundation is. It is full coverage, it's buildable, it doesn't feel heavy, it's very lightweight, and it's radiant. As it says in the name, it gives the most beautiful glow to the skin. And yeah, I'm just obsessed with this. I use it on all my clients and the base always turns out flawless. I use my damp beauty blender to blend it all out, and I just use light dabbing motions. You don't need to go really hard in, like you don't need to tap really hard, just light, and no dragging because that's just going to move the foundation and it's not going to give you good coverage. And then I'm just blending it right down my neck to just blend it into the neck. And then I'm grabbing the Charlotte Tilbury wand, contour wand, and just applying that on my cheekbones. And when I'm using the blender to blend this out, I'm just going upwards, not downwards. If you go downwards, it's going to drag the face down. You want to blend this upwards to give a lifted effect. Now you'll see I'm doing my contour in sections. That's because this product is really fast drying. So I'd prefer it to do it in sections so it doesn't come out patchy. I'm just doing it around my forehead now. Once I've finished both sides, I'm just going in with the Rare Beauty contour stick. I'm just going to use this to contour my nose. It's just an easier product to use on the nose area compared to the wand. Now going in with one of my favorite concealers. This is a Born This Way Too Faced concealer, and I'm just going to start concealing in areas I want to highlight, so under the eye, to the ends of the eye, and a little bit just on the side of the nose. This is just so we can do some reverse contouring in a second. Then I'm just going to place a little bit on the chin, on the tip of the nose, the bridge of the nose, and then a little bit on the forehead. Now I'm just going to start blending that out with my beauty blender. Now I'm just blending it down the side of the nose. This is just gonna help that nose contour look really slim and clean. Then I'm going in with the Charlotte Tilbury setting powder. I'm just dabbing a light amount underneath the eyes with a fluffy brush. I like to apply a little bit on my smile lines too. This just prevents creasing. Now using the Rare Beauty blush, this is in the shade Hope. Just applying a little bit on the higher points of my cheeks, just above that contour. Now when I'm blending this out, I'm just making sure I'm not going too far in down like near the nose area. Just kind of keeping it high up towards the end of the face. It's just going to help with that lifted effect. I'm also blending it right up into the concealer underneath the eye. It's just a nice way to blur it out into everything. Now just getting the Laura Mercier powder, just using a big fluffy brush to set the whole face. Again, just make sure to use dabbing motions and no dragging motions, otherwise you're just going to move the foundation underneath and it's going to turn out patchy or cakey and it's not going to look good. Then just using the Hoola Benefit bronzer, I'm just going in with that fluffy brush again and I'm just going to bronze all the places I did with the cream contour. Also, sorry if you can hear a puppy in the background, that is my 18-week-old Pomsky, Luna, and she is begging for my attention right now. Then just grabbing this small little angle brush, I'm just going to use that with the Hoola bronzer to go over my nose contour. Then to blend that out, I just like to use a fluffy brush and just pinch the end and blend it out. Then getting the Huda Beauty loose powder, this is in the shade Pound Cake, and I was kind of choking on it because it was going everywhere. I'm just using a angled sponge just to slide it down the nose to do a little bit of reverse contouring, and under the eye in the areas where we placed concealer, just to highlight and brighten up a little bit. You'll also see I don't necessarily bake, I more press it into the skin with the sponge. I just find that baking tends to look a little bit cakey and I prefer to press it into the skin. And then just going back in with that Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder, I'm just cleaning up under the contour there. And this is my favorite. Oh my gosh, I love this kit so much. It's the Dior glow kit, and I'm just using the blush out of that. It just gives a beautiful glow to the skin. It's an absolutely amazing palette. If you haven't got it already, run to that store now and grab it. And then just going around the forehead, connecting that contour to the foundation, like right in between there. This just helps everything synchronize together nicely, and a little bit on the chin and the bottom of the nose. And then grabbing that highlight in that palette, I'm just gonna highlight the high points of my cheekbones. A little bit on my chin and a little bit on my forehead to give that nice glow. I'm also going in with a small brush to highlight the tip of my nose and bridge of my nose. This just gives a little bit more detail and precision rather than using a big brush. Also just using that same highlight shade to highlight the brow bone here. And we're also going to highlight the inner corners of the eyes. Now I'm just sweeping away any excess powder from that loose powder we used earlier. Now using this shade here from the Makeup by Mario palette, I'm just going to line under my eyes just to connect that eyeshadow to the bottom lash line. Then after placing it with that flat brush, I'm going to use a little fluffy brush just to blend it out and smoke it out. Damn, you really don't know the crazy faces you'll be doing until you watch yourself on a video. What the heck? Anyway, I'm going in with the Fenty liner. This is my favorite liner actually. It lasts forever and yeah, it's very long wearing. I'm just gonna do some inner corner liner, just a really small one, nothing dramatic. Now grabbing a white liner, this is the NYX Jumbo liner. I'm just going to be placing that on my waterline. This just helps give the look of like a really open eye. It makes the eyes look wider. Now just adding a little bit of mascara to the bottom lashes. Using the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, I'm just going to set the whole face. This spray is amazing for melting all the powders together and giving a nice glowy finish. Now I'm going to line my lips using the Makeup Forever lip liner. This is in the shade Endless Cacao. It is my favorite shade of lip liner. It's a really cool toned lip liner, so it doesn't give that orangey kind of look that some liners give off. Now you'll see I'm just blending that liner inwards a little bit. This is just going to give a nice ombre effect before we apply the lipstick. I'm now applying the Charlotte Tilbury lipstick in the shade Pillow Talk. Now just applying the NYX Butter Gloss. I love this gloss so much because it doesn't feel sticky and it just makes nude combos look so freaking good. Like, look at this combo, guys. And this is a finished look, guys. I really hope you learnt something from this video and I can't wait to see you in my next one. Bye, my glamours.